tomorrow. I just kind of wanted some clarification on the budget because the income side is very small and doesn't have a lot of detail compared to the expenses side where everything was broken up very clearly what things were used for and even explained what they were used for. And my biggest confusion is over here we have the state aid for construction being such a large amount, and when you were going over your budget it was completely omitted from what it was detailed, but I feel like some of the stuff on the expenses side could be used with the money from the grant. So if that's the case, why is it not getting broken up, or at least explain to us what part of the expenses, like under the, and maybe I'm wrong, but under the structures and grounds of repair and maintenance, you guys said you were fixing broken pipes, but why isn't, if the state aid for construction covers repairs for our broken pipes, why isn't that being accounted for, or why isn't it being clear for us? But again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not seeing parts that aren't here. The money at the bottom was a little more confusing, but that big number saying that we have an actual income of $942,831.80, and then I know the actual is $647. It's not written here for the expenses, but even if you take out the cash in the bank amount, that should, with a rough estimate, that's what I want clarification on, is the state aid for construction, does that not account or cover any part of the expenses listed? Is that just completely extra money that sits for grants that we're not going to be knowing what it's being used for, or is that also included in the expenses and the numbers are just not being clear?
Thank you. Unfortunately, during public comment, my board can't respond, but what I can do is I can send direction for them to, within 2 months, to kind of give like something broken down, like maybe out in a newsletter, like post it to our social media, so, or maybe we can even get together and figure out maybe a date we can come and explain the budget more in detail. Okay.
Okay.
Information, you can always go to the office anytime you want to meet.
Okay.
You can, but we have to be mindful of doing that, just because they're still working on their daily things. If you call and say, hey, can you pull this for me and give them a couple of days?
I would remind the board that during this period, it's for the public to provide comment. At the closure of the public hearing, we can direct administration to answer any of the questions.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
One more comment. So if I'm not thinking they understand though, because you're showing a budget for, you're gonna approve it for next year. So you're not gonna go back and try to adjust anything to try to cut back, to try to help out on what we're supposed to be the rest, in the red. So I'm wondering, so do they understand? I don't think they understand that you're gonna approve what you just put up there for extra money. So are you going to go ahead and do that with all this concern of what's going on? Yes, because you're doing the budget right now for next year, 2024-25. So usually after this you're going to approve it. So right now what I'm saying is that they're telling you that they want to know where the money is and stuff, or to cut back. And so if you go ahead and approve it, then, that's going to be a done deal. So is there any way that you can go through those, like maybe extend this so we can go through the numbers ourselves and then really understand what is going on with those? Why do you need the extra money for this? And what is this other, like I said, I didn't really get a chance to do that because I was focusing on the rate itself. So I'm just saying, because I have my old papers at home, and from 2021, and it wasn't like this at all. It was up there, but I see a big expenditure on some things. So I just want them to understand, if you approve it, then it's just a done deal. This is what they're going to say. We have to, be a part of that extra money to fulfill this budget.
We'll answer that. We'll answer that after the public comment.
Good evening, I'm Dillon, Savory. My wife's family lives here in Biola, and I want to just give both sides here a little bit of advice. You all should know how angry this community is based that translation is gonna be needed and a budget workshop going forward. And the community should know that if they provide translation, that it's very, very important that we show up at every meeting and demand that these types of things don't happen on a regular basis. After I pulled up the documents upon my wife's family's request, because some of them are monolingual Spanish speakers, first of all, I deal with local government. I know how to find documents online. I would guarantee that the grand majority of people living all over, not just this community, find it difficult to get online and find the exact links for the documents because it takes several clicks into different pieces of the website. So even, as you can tell, that even the English speakers didn't understand the budget as it was presented, and that requires a budget workshop in the future. So I think it's helpful to note that you all are probably doing the best that you have with the situation in front of you, but not having English in Spanish translation, not having the documents online in Spanish. There are, I think, 5 board members. You all should be able to knock on the doors in this community in a relatively short period of time. If there was something this important coming up that was going to cause this much literal heartache on a month-to-month basis. As I can tell from the documents, it's been since 2014, since the water rates were increased, and I can tell everybody here that water and electricity and sewage and all of these things are very, very costly. They're going up in every city, Fresno included. Many cities are struggling with these things. But whether it's this group or the group of 4, folks that are elected do not like to make tough decisions, so they move it to the next group and they move it to the next group, and then it's been 10 years and all of a sudden we're behind. Most of us know 10 years, even our groceries were less expensive than they are now. However, having just a few days notice and this big of an increase, tonight's gonna be tough. You all are gonna hear a lot of very difficult conversations and people that are gonna be hurt, and I think you're gonna have to just be humble about it. And I think board members are going to have to be willing to say, you don't just come to the office and request stuff. That's not good enough. Most of these people work 10-hour days, they work on Saturdays, they need stuff posted on their doors, they need easier to access information. Forgive me for going so fast, I know the translation doesn't catch up. My organization works with Linguistica all the time. They should be put into the budget. They should be. I would prefer to be the one wearing the earpiece, and the English speakers, there's only a handful of us here, even including the board president. These meetings should be in Spanish, and there should be more meetings, particularly around budget time. So just the point of offering, I think, easier advice for there to be less tough conversations in the future, and for everybody here to be patient, because your anger is validated. You should get it out, but these things are very tough for everybody. So express yourself, be active, and make sure everybody's working together. Thank you.
Thank you.